Morning, guys. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, and NoName. NoName because I'm going to be flipping him. Not that he's not a good dog, it's just I've got enough dogs to choke a dinosaur, and I got the female. His sister is here, and the sisters who all work the female. Put her into my breeding stock. Yep, yeah, it's a good girl. That's a good boy, huh? Yeah, and it's NoName. All right, so what I kind of wanted to go over today, give me a second. I'm going to shut the back of this truck so we don't have the yapping puppy. Was some of the fundamentals that I do with the young puppies and how I handle my animal husbandry and my attitude with my dogs. It makes me fair to middling with producing puppies. You know, you guys see Simba. Simba was not Simba. Simba was a customer's dog. Dante the Badass. If you remember Dante the Badass, his owner and Carlos Romero's got his hand on him for a while, and he says it was one of the toughest dogs he's had in a long time. There's a reason for that. Genetics matter, and so getting a very well-bred dog with some dang good genetics, that's the first thing that you need to do if you're going to produce the type of product that I want, which is a working dog that can go towards personal protection and be a real dog and or law enforcement, right? So the biggest thing that I do with a young puppy like this when they first come in is set up pattern and routine. We're talking about animal husbandry and the mental aspects of what I'm doing with the animal. Training is most people think of training as heel, sit down, stay in behaviors, but so much is about what this dog's head's at as you work with the animal and their puppies, okay? And it's something I feel I'm pretty good at. So the biggest thing that I can say is that nurturing nature that's in us humans that I keep talking about with all the problem behavior. A lot of it that comes to me is from lack of understanding and lack of knowledge and the big word that everybody thinks is negative, which is ignorance. Ignorance just means you don't know what's going on and you're not savvy to that, whatever regiment that is, you know? So the biggest thing that I can tell you is to not coddle your dog too much. Give a lot of separation and set up very set patterns in everything you do. Those patterns are going to be what you use for training later on down the line. So when I get up in the morning, it's always the same time. You ever notice when you get up in the morning at 7, your dogs push you to get up at 6:30? Okay, so that's natural. So you got to learn to just keep your head down and don't do anything to go out there when they're screaming and yelling and all that, and they've got to learn that in a nutshell that behavior doesn't get them what they want. Dogs are very prone to understanding how they can get what they want, and our nature of being nurturing and over coddling is the biggest crime that you can do to screw up your dog from being a strong dog. So there's where we're talking about. When I have a puppy, my whole goal is to produce strength. Mental strength as well as physical strength, and then start teaching them how to learn, okay? And I don't do it like you see all these people online where all they've got is food in the dog's nose, and they look good because the dog's following a lure and he's doing these behaviors, and the public is so swayed by that. I got one trainer online that's all he does is stick food in the dog's nose, and when I first started getting his dogs in, I realized right away that he had huge holes in their development. One of the main things was impulse control. And now the gentleman's learned a lot because I've been working with him for the last 6-8 months. We're now going to kind of start going our own way. He moved away from me. So he's down below and I'm up here in the high desert. So it's just not being productive for us to be keeping our same relationship because he's no longer nearby me, right? So that being the case, I hope he's learned a lot, and I wish him well in that regards. But the biggest, he had so many holes. He thought he knew what he was doing, and it's because he looks great on the Instagram videos and all this digital magic that you hear me lamenting about all the time, because I don't have any digital magic at all. I don't have the time to sit in front of that computer and edit these videos and worry about the sound and all that. That's on the internet. I don't live on the internet. I live by doing. I eat, breathe, and sleep dogs, and I'm out here working dogs and working with customers and educating and teaching, and that's what I thrive for. You know, the rest of it, okay, fine. And I may be a starving artist because of that, because I'm not into the click crowd on Instagram and getting into all that. If there's any kids that want to start a film business and they're up here in this area, if you want to get into filming, I've got a great petri dish for you, because I've got all kinds of dogs to be able to film, and you can follow me around and do all kinds of stuff to increase your trade in life if you want to go towards film production, right? Which is the new age of what we got going on. But all right, so back to the dogs. Pattern and routine. They've been here about ouch, damn it, you little fucker. That's why I've got a cut on my finger, because these guys' teeth are just, man. All right, so in a nutshell, pattern is what matters, right? So I set up a totally heavy pattern when they're this year. He's about 8, 9 weeks old. And what I do is I make sure when they come in, I let him rest, because he had a road trip, came in all the way from Virginia, so they're stressed out by that. My mind is always thinking about the well-being of the animal, obviously. So my first goal is to make sure that their engine is working properly, which means food in and food out, right? That whole digestion system, their gut health is everything, right? You want a healthy dog? Keep in mind that it's about their gut health, okay? And it's important having a very set pattern and routine where the food's coming in and going out the other end, and you pay attention to their stools, and because soft stool and running stools is stress related, right? Or a change of water from where they're at and they're coming in here. I just gave them a shot after 3 or 4 days. I gave them their DHL PP, and then I'll wait for another till about probably a month after I gave them this shot, and I'll give them another one. But usually it's 12 and then 16 weeks, and that's the last shot you give. So I am worried about it. About 12 weeks of age, I'll start taking them out in public. They're too young for that now, and I don't want to have them be susceptible to it. And even at that point, I'm a little bit early. A lot of people want to wait until all the way 16 weeks, but you're waiting on, and you're ruining the fact that this dog is a sponge for everything that happens to him, okay? That being the case, I want to make sure that I do the things in the right pattern and routine, as always, right? So right now I'm out here at about 8:30. I've done all my kennel work and got everybody settled. I've got their food soaking in a bowl back there, and they're hungry as heck because they had 8 hours in between the time they've been fed, which means I've got to draw with the food, right? So I imprint this. In other words, food, following the lure. That's all I care about really, is the drives, and then doing cursory. In other words, I don't need to be like some of these videos online, and they're so worried about the sport, and they want the dog to sit, and they got all this stuff they're worried about behaviors. I could give a hoot about that, because if I do the right thing with drives, following the food, that sort of thing, okay, and getting them into want, right? And then little things like this that build confidence. Hup, hup. Yeah, you go, good boy, good. Yeah, yeah, go. He's a little smaller than Sister. Sister jumps right up here. Come on, good boy, good. Yeah, yeah, go, good boy, good. Yep. And then again, down's always easier than up. So you saw me lift the dog up, and I don't want to have no negatives. So I don't want him falling on his head. I don't want him having stumbles and falls. I'm not going to break the bank, but yep, you'll notice, yep, come on, yay. Then I'll kind of pull up on that collar a little bit so he doesn't, I don't want him having any negative if I can help it. And then my luring is cursory, meaning I don't need it to be exact. I don't care about the routines they teach you to do, heel, sit down, stay. And what I care about is drive now at this point, imprinting. They're so young right now, touching, see, this bowl. Going onto the bowls, agility, things that will build confidence and mental strength within the dog. That's what I care about, right? So the reason that Dante was such a badass is because how I approach this. There's another trainer down in the South Bay area, Psych with South Bay Canine, and his dogs come out real tough. One, genetics matter, okay? Don't get me wrong. It's important. But your skill in working with the animals and understanding the development of these dogs is important. And what Psych does, whether you realize it or not, his whole nature is what creates it. He's very quiet, very stoic. And I'm sure he has the same instincts that I do, which is basically don't over-coddle the dog, don't foo-foo him. Set up pattern, set up routine, things that they can rely on, that they understand what's supposed to be happening. Good boy, good. There you go. Yep, good boy, good. Yay, good boy. And then from that pattern and routine and thinking about the health of the animal, both mentally and physically, and realizing that us as humans have a tendency to want to coddle. Yeah, my baby. It doesn't mean that you can't do that. It means that you need to compartmentalize it and stay away from that as much as you can, because you're going to do it anyway, right? But if you're always conscientious about it and you're trying to build strength by separation, what did I do this morning? First thing I did was bring these little shits out about 6:30 in the morning, and I went for a little potty break. And I was chattering the whole time. Go potty, good boy, good. And a lot of high pitch when they did go, because I'm working on potty training, right? And then as soon as they went, I went and put them in their kennels. The separation, right? They started squalling and carrying on, and I just ignore them. And they had that whole hour or so out there as I'm doing kennel work and everything, and I'm doing my animal husbandry with taking care of the dogs, and I'm ignoring these guys. I'm not saying a word to them, right? That's the key. Get rid of your overcompensation and your human nature to want to coddle a friggin' puppy. And you girls, all the more so, okay? Puppies are cute when they're, oh, my little stickers, but you know how bad you ruin dogs? A lot of times these dogs come to us and it's because they've been handled improperly that creates all the neurotic behavior caused by you not understanding the hard wiring of a dog, right? And it's sad to me because all these dogs like Gunzo is there because the owner didn't have a clue, and she raised a dog, and this dog started to be a very strong dog and had some things happen to it. Whatever the case history behind the dog is, it still goes down back to over-coddling the dog and not keeping conscientious and aware of the fact that the most important thing you can do, you want to develop a very strong dog and have a strong dog, stop friggin' foo-fooing the animal, right? Doesn't mean you need to be abusive, but when I'm raising a dog, I'm grabbing the gals on, even at this age, right? Little hard pats. Good boy, good, yes, above us. And my attitude, my mental attitude directed towards this animal is one of always thinking about how do I build strength. And if I do that, strength and confidence, right? That's where the agility comes in, right? People, places, things, environment. That's what I concentrate on, everything. First and foremost, everything else follows behind that. Because if I have a confident dog that's strong, that's sure of themselves, I can teach the dog anything, right? I can get through all kinds of things. But if I have a weak dog mentally, I've always got to be struggling to get through this weak dog. And I've got to overcompensate. And like Gunzo is a good dog, but he didn't have all that when he first started, right? Imagine what I'm going to have when I get this dog. Think of what Dante was, the badass. That dog was strong, right? There's a reason for that, how I treat the animal, what I do with my pattern and routine in my day. That's what matters, right? All right, Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training with NoName, who is available, by the way, guys. If you are a qualified buyer and you want a really good working dog, come see me. This dog is available. He's out of Daisy and Rico, and I put out the BRN numbers online, so you guys can check that out. Go to my community tab and you see little posts and stuff that I've done that's just verbiage. That is where the BRN numbers are at. Age and BRN numbers all in that area. Good dog. I'm going to wait for him to sit. Right now I've got a whole handful of food, so I've got plenty of draw. That scent pool is just heavy in there, right? And I'm waiting for him to do something I want. He's not doing it, so I'm just not going to worry about it. And then I might start throwing in a clicker, right? All the things we need to teach the dog, but he's done already. In a nutshell, I didn't really do a really good set routine with him because I'm yakking at the screen, but you get my point, right? It's all about building strength and confidence, and we do that with environment and all kinds of things as we go along. So that's what we're talking about today, because I just got these guys 3 or 4 days ago, so that's where my head's at. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I see you. One more on top of the table and we'll be done. He jumped up on it earlier, so let's see if I can get him to do it one more time. We'll end it. Yeah, good boy, good. Good boy. I helped him a little bit with some pressure on pulling him into it. That's good. Yep, come. Yeah, good boy, good. There you go, good boy, good. There you go. And following lure, not necessarily worried about the behaviors of heel, sit down, stay. It's more about building the dog's mental and physical, jumping onto things, confidence building with how I treat the animal, right? All right, let me go ahead and turn this off with NoName, and then I'm going to go get the other female out. I might bring it out and be more directing towards just working the dog instead of yakking. Talk to you soon.